possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So Donald Trump was impeached for a second time yesterday. So Donald Trump has gone down in history. He's the first president who was impeached twice. This man is going down in infamy. And he deserved this impeachment. He earned this impeachment because essentially what this man did was instigate and incite a riot. He instigated and incited an insurrection at the Capitol building. And make no mistake about it, that's exactly what it was. It was an attempted coup, an attempted effort to disrupt the democratic process. So, as you all know, we had the presidential election in November. Joe Biden won the election. He won the popular vote. He won the electoral college. And Congress simply had to certify the election results and confirm that Joe Biden was, in fact, elected president of the United States. And what Donald Trump did was he incited a mob to storm the Capitol in order to disrupt that democratic process. He claims that there was some kind of voter fraud, but there is no evidence of voter fraud. All of those cases that he brought in court failed. All of them were dismissed, not only by Democratic judges, but also by Republican judges. This man claimed that there was voter fraud, but you even had Republican election officials point out that there was no evidence of any fraud. So basically, you had this man lying to the American people, telling them that there was some kind of fraud, telling them that the election was stolen. And make no mistake about it, when he talks about an election being stolen, most of the people that he's claiming were engaged in fraud are black people. He's basically accusing black people of engaging in voter fraud. Places like Detroit and places like Philadelphia and other crucial places with large black populations that made a difference in this election. Places like parts of Georgia, Atlanta, etc. He's claiming that those areas engaged in voter fraud. He's trying to disenfranchise not only black voters, but all voters who voted for Joe Biden. That's what he tried to do. Tried to steal an election after complaining about stealing an election. So he whipped up this mob, ripped them into a frenzy, telling them that there's voter fraud and telling them that they have to show strength and not weakness, talking about how he would be marching with them on the Capitol, and he was nowhere in sight. He was nowhere in sight when they stormed the Capitol. He was nowhere in sight when those people attacked a police officer. He was nowhere in sight when that woman was shot by Capitol Police. He was in a place of comfort, enjoying the spectacle, enjoying the circus. And a lot of those fools, those crash dummies, those cult followers that followed him, that heeded his message and blindly followed him off a cliff. Many of them are facing charges. 4 of them died. One of them was shot in the neck and died on the scene. 3 others died from medical complications. And 1 police officer was killed. So this man, Donald Trump, earned this impeachment. He deserved this impeachment, and I'm glad that he was impeached. He will go down in history as one of the worst presidents ever. And this will set a precedent to prevent future presidents from trying to overturn election results or trying to disrupt the democratic process. So this is a major development, and it's something to be celebrated. I have to commend those Republicans who stood with the Democrats and voted for impeachment. 10 Republicans stood with the Democrats and voted for impeachment. And they are commendable. They are profiles in courage, at least at that particular moment. That was a moment of truth. Whereas these other Republicans proved that they are cowards, proved that they are not worthy to serve by, voting against impeachment, even though this man's own actions jeopardized the safety of those same members of Congress. That mob, those rioters, they were invading the Capitol. They had some of them had weapons. Some of them had actually created pipe bombs and stuff. So one of them came in there with plastic handcuffs to lock up people, to shackle people and stuff. And they were chanting things like, hanging, talking about how they were going to hang Mike Pence. That's what they were talking about. So this was a hostile crowd. They were jeopardizing the safety of members of Congress, but yet and still, some of these Republican members of Congress decided not to support impeachment. So they will go down in history as well. Because this is a situation where you could have had a coup. You could have had the democratic process disrupted. And Donald Trump, the whole time, he urged these people to do this. And even after the riot had occurred, while it was unfolding, this man, instead of harshly condemning what they were doing, he talked about how he loved these people. He talked about how they were special people. That's what this man said, and that's why he deserves to be impeached. He deserves to be impeached for jeopardizing national security, for jeopardizing the lives of members of Congress by inciting this ridiculous riot that took place on the Capitol. He deserves this. He deserved to be impeached. And it's just a shame that Mitch McConnell is trying to drag this process out. He could have, went forward with the trial before Joe Biden takes office. But instead, he's trying to drag out the process. But Donald Trump, he is one of the worst presidents this nation has ever had. And he incited this right-wing, racist insurrection. And that's what it was. It was racist. You got some people saying, oh, it wasn't racist, blah, blah, blah. They came there with Confederate flags. Some of them came there wearing shirts mocking the Holocaust. You had Proud Boys there. You had white supremacists there participating in this insurrection. So Donald Trump deserved this. He earned it, and I'm glad that he has been impeached. I can't wait for him to leave the White House. He's a disgrace to this nation. And the thing is, it's easy for everyone to just simply point the finger at Donald Trump and say he's just the bad guy and all that kind of stuff. And I feel that. I understand why people are saying that, just like I'm doing right now. But he is the monster that America produced. America voted for him the first time. They put that buffoon in the White House. They put that racist in the White House. They put that white supremacist in the White House. And millions upon millions of people, despite everything that has happened, voted for him again. He reflects this country. He reflects the worst of this country. He is the mirror that's being held to America's face and exposing the grotesque ugliness and bigotry and racism of this country. And, one thing that I have to mention is that Donald Trump doesn't care anything about those crash dummies, those rioters, those people who basically served as cannon fodder. He doesn't care for them at all. He doesn't give a damn about them. In fact, he showed them utter disrespect. There was an article put out where they were talking about, like, the only complaint that he had about the riot was about the people participating being low class. That's how he described these people that are risking their lives and their liberties in order to keep him in the White House. He called them, basically said they were low class people. That was what he complained about. He didn't complain about the violence. He didn't complain about the destruction of property. He didn't complain about the bombs and all that kind of stuff, the pipe bombs that could have gone off and all that kind of stuff. Instead, he complained about these people being low class. He has no respect for these fools that are out here risking everything for him. In fact, after that, you know, while these people that went off, you know, risked everything for him are getting locked up, as they should get locked up, as they're getting arrested, while their names are being, you know, while they're being dragged through the mud and condemned, and as they should be condemned, this man throws them under the bus. Talking about none of his, a true follower of his wouldn't engage in this activity. After he egged it on. He's trying to condemn them after the fact, when he could have prevented this whole thing by simply conceding, simply admitting that he lost the election. But now that he's been impeached, now that he's faced all this condemnation from Republicans and Democrats, all of a sudden he throws these people under the bus. And that shows you that he is about him first and foremost. He don't care nothing about the American people. And it's just a shame that the people can't see this. So again, I'm glad that this man was impeached. I can't wait till he leaves the White House. And the sad thing is, he's already set in motion a chain of events. It's likely that we will see more of this kind of stuff. You know, there was some report about, an FBI report about possible armed protests taking place at state capitals around the country. So this country's on high alert. Who's to say that these fanatics that follow him won't engage in some kind of terrorist activity to further their cause? One report that I saw in the news, they were talking about how these people had arms and stuff, how they were prepared and coordinating some kind of attack possibly. So yeah, that's something to think about. So with that, I'm going to say peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Please rate, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I post new content on here. Tell me what you think about this situation. Peace and blessings. Have a good day.